Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast, is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
Welcome back to the program, kids. Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso Podcast. Tom Clark back here with you as always, joined by Jay Luft and Joe Higgens. Got the names right. And we are lamenting the fact that Ted's son is back in this episode. I done let the genie out of the bottle because someone's got a big problem with this kid. I won't say who, but man, I'm telling you. That's how we're starting today, folks. This is episode number 8. Welcome back to the show. We are in the final 5, as far as we know, of the experience of Ted Lasso, season 3, episode 8. You have made it. We have made it. We are in the home stretch. We see the finish line on the horizon. We're almost there. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for subscribing and downloading and for sharing with your friends. We hope you've enjoyed the ride thus far. So, Joe, let's start with you. Apart from Henry Lasso being a massive thorn in your side, what's your overview coming into this episode?
This, as you said, as we approach the home stretch of Ted Lasso now, everything is sort of racing towards conclusion. And after all the silliness of the last episode, this one is that classic Ted Lasso 1-2 of emotional gut punch all the way through this one. And it's great, but does contain one of my most hated Ted Lasso sequence in the entire thing, which we'll get to because it just feels really tacked on and weird. But this is, again, after the high of last one, this is the emotional development episode. And it's great, and we learn a lot, but the jokes are thin on the ground in this one.
Yeah. Jay, what's your thoughts coming into this one?
Yeah, this, as you said, after last week's kind of sort of quite light-hearted one, this is a bit of a hard one to sort of watch after. Yeah, it's we'll get to it when we get to it, but it is a very difficult watch, this one, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of real life stuff in here, or at least things that resemble real life. We'll get to that shortly. And I like the way they attack it head on, and they make this fit the narrative of the show, which makes a lot of sense, especially in Colin's situation, which we'll see coming up, which makes a lot of sense. But I'm excited for this one, folks, as the two guys here just said. It's not exactly a very upbeat episode, but we've covered some ground that we need to cover here for Colin, for Keeley, for a couple of other things happening here as well. And yes, for Henry Lasso. So we're going to go ahead and tackle this, folks. We hope you're ready to roll. And because we have episode 8 on deck and ready to go here for you. This episode is entitled, We'll Never Have Paris. This episode originally aired May 3rd, 2023, directed by Erica Dunton on a story by Keeley, Hazell, and Dylan Marron. And as we've said, 12 episodes in season 3. Yes, folks, we are almost home. When last we left the Ted Lasso gang, the concept of total football was introduced to AFC Richmond as Ted, Beard, and specifically Roy tried to instill the idea of teamwork through very unorthodox methods, to say the least. Nate, after several false starts, finally got the courage to ask Jade out on a date, as Rebecca gave Keeley some sage advice on how to deal with Jack's penchant for love bombing her. And Sam took a stand against hateful politics, only to find his restaurant in shambles as a result, leading his father and the team to rally around him in his hour of need. In this episode, number 8, we open to sounds of a game winding down as we hear Chris and Arlo proclaiming the greatness of AFC Richmond. Funny how things change. As they've beaten Aston Villa 3-0, then beating Southampton, then Tottenham. They've now won 3 in a row. We get a nice little montage of the crowd where Rebecca, Keeley, and Higgens are sitting. They're cheering, then the pub, then Rupert, who is not a happy camper about any of this. We can firmly understand why. We get the 3 commentators talking about the team. Everyone's happy. We get another sensational win at Everton That's 4 in a row. Amazing.
Well,
then there's car trick.
We do get John's card trick.
Yeah.
It's a lucky streak.
He's just such a contrarian.
Yeah.
A callback to season 1 as well, where they couldn't beat Everton away, and now they seem to be able to do it all the time. Yeah, car trick here is very much like on panel shows like that. They'll always have someone who just disagrees with everyone for the sake of it.
That's his job, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's always biased towards another team, and everyone fucking rolls their eyes. And just
despite
think,
the fact, as we know, his entire career has been as a caretaker manager. Like,
yeah, just thinking, why haven't you just gone to that bloody used car dealership you own, you prick? Not naming any names, Phil Thompson. Yeah.
Usually he gets on my nerves, this car trick, but this time when they panned over to him, he's all kicked back in his chair. It's a lucky streak. I'm like, all right, that's funny. I'm sorry. Like, yeah. Usually he's.
I do quite like car trick. He's a dickhead, but he's a funny dickhead.
Yeah, he's there for a reason.
He's there for a reason. Good point. We hear Arlo saying you have to think that no one is happier than Coach Ted Lasso, and of course we get again unheralded camera work in this show, which we've put over multiple times during our review. It bears repeating. The cinematography, the camera work in this show is exquisite. We get that slow pan to Sudeikis, who is just absolute stone-faced. And we know why, because he was a lot on his mind, not the least of which is he's sitting in a pub with his ex-wife and Dr. Jake. Still, the show's long since done for now, and I'm not going to bash it too much here, but like I still question the whole Dr. Jake thing. I think you could have inserted anyone into this spot, and it still would have been an easy for Ted, but to insert the guy that he trusted, I don't know. It's a weird choice.
I think that's part of like the point of it, isn't it? It's to kind of really paint him as like a slime ball.
Yeah. Like, this is unethical. Yeah.
There's 2 characters within the whole show that have no redeeming qualities whatsoever, and it's Dr. Jake and Rupert.
Yep.
3 if you include Henry. He's awful.
And Henry. I knew that was coming.
He's doing the best he can with a limited skill set. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's Dr. Jake and Rupert. Like, Dr. Jake's just very, very much kind of with Ted the way Rupert was in season 1, where it was like sort of like the keeping your friends close and your enemies closer sort of thing. But obviously he kind of like shows his hand a lot quicker than Rupert, because Rupert we kind of get it over 2 seasons, whereas with Dr. Jake we get it like not instantly, but we get it over about 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah. I also just think, how many times has he done this before? He just rebounds people. Yeah.
Again, it's no redeeming qualities, is it? It's just
it's just as I don't think he's a medical professional, but even that, you're in a position of trust, and this is abuse of that trust.
And also, it goes back to undoing Ted's trust of psychiatrists, because he managed to build that with Dr. Sharon, but then Dr. Jake's a prick, and he's like, and literally he's confirmed everything that Ted, every like apprehension Ted had, that, oh yeah, this guy's just judging me, this guy's just like, and like using his position of power over me to like sort of like bend me to his will. And he literally has done that by stealing his wife, convincing her to leave Ted. And obviously we don't know that. It's just a lot of kind of like filling in the blanks there, but it does justify Ted's kind of like dislike of psychiatrists, and it's why he didn't want to go to therapy in the first place.
Yeah, great point. Yeah, I can't argue that at all. It's awesome. Henry's there, and he's telling her, he says, "I'll take face-to-face time over FaceTime anytime," which is a good line. That's a Tedism for sure. Jake wants Ted to call him Jake, not Dr. Jake. I'd be like, I got a lot more stuff I could call you, buddy.
Yeah, pal. But there's a great bit where Ted's doing Ted stuff
with Michelle.
And she's still in it, and he's sitting there like a
rolling
dog that's been
eyes,
showing a magic trick, like just doesn't know what's going on. and I'm like, they're still like they still care for each other and stuff, and
Yeah.
he's not even trying to like get in on it. This is a formality. He's here to dump the kid, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's the whole like you don't know what you got till it's gone thing, isn't it? Like Michelle's like literally like Ted let Michelle go and like sign the divorce papers because he'd rather like her be happy than like it was as selfless an act as it could have been for Ted.
Yeah.
But then obviously like, and he's obviously madly in love with her still. I think she's starting to realize, oh yeah, I like this other guy, but it's not Ted, is it?
No, nobody is.
Nobody is. Good point.
No one can grow attached like that.
Yeah, they have the Jay-Z back and forth, which is cool. I thoroughly enjoyed their little convo. And yeah, talking about white folks calling Jay-Z Jigga Man. She's like, or when you see a priest wearing shorts, like, yeah, weird, you know? When you get pulled over by a cop who's the same age, you're like, come on, man, be cool. What are we doing here? I like that. And yeah, they still have that banter. And then Henry asks for more change. Both Ted and Jake both go to dig through their pockets. Ted has magnets and a green matchbook.
Yeah, he stole the magnets off the formation board. I need to take those back to work.
Yeah.
Why have you got them in your pocket?
Why have you got them?
He's probably just fucking around with the formation, isn't he? And then just went, I don't need them right
in
now.
your pocket, yeah.
Well, it was all like different coloured ones. So obviously, one's like for the home team, one's for the away team.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So when he's planning a play, and Sam's MacBook.
May comes up and tells Henry that she rigged the machine so any coins will work, meaning the pinball machine. Ted says, I thought you said that was impossible. And she just looks at him and then says, nothing's impossible. That's not on the nose, is it? I like that.
It's good, though, because she kind of gives a slight look, and then it's like, nothing's, like she knows. May's.
Yeah, but also, like, the way that she can, like, if she were ever questioned on it, which they wouldn't question her on it because it's May, but if she ever was, she could just, like, go, oh, you know, I'm just talking about football, like the turnaround and all that. Like she's done it as it's on the nose, but it's thinly veiled at the same time. Like
she's a wise woman.
Yeah, there's enough subterfuge there that they wouldn't like outright go, "What are you getting at there?"
We talking about
and Dr. Jake and his dirty money, mate.
I don't call him Dr. Jake. I call him Dr. Jerk. How about that?
Well, hey, there you go. Look at satire.
I don't mean to be foul-mouthed here, but
I call him Madman Insane. Yeah.
By the way, it's a weird sidebar. We don't need to spend 20 minutes on it because we do that a lot. Do you guys get caught up in the dirty money stuff? Because sometimes I'll have someone go, dude, you handle change and wash your hands. Like sometimes I hear people say stuff like that.
I rarely handle cash.
Same.
Yeah, I very rarely handle cash now.
Like I've got £4 coins on the side that I got. Someone gave me, and I'm like, I'm never going to use these for anything.
Yeah.
You just go bip with your card, don't you know?
Back when I worked in a bar and I used to get tips, and obviously that was a lot of like just change. I was a bit funny about it, but yeah, it's one of them. I don't really.
But also the thing is, he goes, I'm going to go and wash my hands, and like you're in a toilet in a pub. You're going to open that door handle. No one else in the toilet.
No one washes their hands in a fucking pub.
Yeah.
No.
I do, because I'm not disgusting. But
I do, because I'm not an animal. But
yeah. But I was just like, you're just going to put them right back on there. Idiot.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, good point. So that conveniently takes him away from the table. We get a moment with Ted and Michelle. And she's getting ready to eat in front of him, have breakfast. And he's like, I'm not hungry. I had a big old piece of cereal for breakfast. It's a really good line. Really good line.
A giant sugar puff.
Oh, no, it's because he has the shredded wheat, isn't it?
Yeah, the thing.
Oh, God, yes. Yeah.
Another really good call. That's like dead alien.
Yeah.
Takes the whole bowl.
Yeah. Them breakfasts look terrible as well. Not enough stuff on that breakfast.
They look
there's
fucking
nothing
awful.
on there.
I would have sent that back.
It's like, is this the child's one?
Like, I mean, first of
It
all,
looked like an appetizer plate.
Not enough beans for a start.
Nah, you can keep your beans. But
Beans.
like when I've been to like pubs and greasy spoons and stuff in London, there's always chips on a breakfast, and I don't agree with it.
Yeah, weirdly,
I don't agree
like
with
that.
it. But also, it's like a fun treat. It's like being on holiday.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it
Fries
is like
for you, like not crisps, but yeah.
Right, yeah.
It is like a nice treat. I remember I remember getting ordering a full English and it was in London actually as well. And literally like it coming out with like everything and then they're bringing out this big bowl of chips. Like, what the fuck are you giving them? As well as hash browns. Yeah, as well as hash browns.
It's too many. Well, it's a different kind of potato, isn't it?
It was but it was excessive potato, but it was just like, well, this is a nice, surprising treat.
Yeah, it's a fun breakfast. Yeah, but there was not enough. I was like,
sunrise starch.
The portion sizes they have, like with the fish and chips and stuff, that breakfast is woefully inadequate.
Yeah,
I mean, it to be fair, pub breakfasts are usually kind of shit.
Yeah, that's a good point.
A pub dinner or a pub lunch is fucking always good. As shown by the fish and chips because they always look amazing.
Yeah, they do. God, I'm hungry. Again, we get sidetracked by food so often.
Every time.
Yeah, pub breakfasts, take or leave them.
I had one in Scotland, and it was possibly one of the nicest breakfasts I ever had because it had like lawn sausage and regular sausage and black pudding and white pudding, and it was horrible but delicious.
I mean,
at
the
same time.
Scottish do not fuck around with breakfast because that's got to do you for the whole day.
I assume he just dropped a bucket of meat in a deep fat fryer and then put it on a plate, and I was like, sweet, on board.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised he didn't deep fry the beans and the fucking egg as well.
If they could batter it, they probably would.
Yeah. I mean,
have you never seen battered pizza? Oh, mate, filth.
I mean, this is the same nation that deep fries Mars bars, so you know.
Oh wow!
I've had it. It's not great.
I've never had it. I'm just afraid of the idea of it.
Oh, we deep fry Oreos over here. That's what we do over here.
I've had that. That's quite
not to get massively off topic again, but there was a program on Netflix, one of those bake-off style elimination things, where it was deep fry masters, and it were all carnies, circus folk, small hands, smell of cabbage. But every episode was just them deep frying different things, and there was one of the judges on it was the guy that invented like deep fried lemonade and deep fried cola.
Yeah,
you can't deep fry liquid.
He'd done it. He did like 2 state fairs a year, made all his money for the rest of the year, and I'm like, that's the dream.
How did he do that?
It's a secret recipe. He won awards at the Deep Fry Olympics.
Did he use like the liquid instead of the oil?
Mate, it's a mystery. You'd have to kill him to find out and absorb his powers like a Highlander.
I'm gonna. There can be only one.
There can be only.
I think he froze it or like.
Yeah.
Gelled it.
Oh,
or
so
something.
like baked Alaska.
I don't know. He wouldn't show it. But it was. I just remember a man deep frying an entire burger and thought, there is no God.
I do like a deep fried burger, not like the whole burger, just like the actual patty.
Yeah, but no, this was the whole thing, like battered and dropped in a fryer and then put on a steak.
You can't deep fry bread. That's a war crime.
Fried bread.
Yeah, fried bread, not deep fried bread, man.
Potato,
it's
like, isn't it, at this point. Anyway.
Like one of those fish camps. I don't know if you guys have them, like those fish camps where they deep fry everything. You go to a fish camp in this country, by the time they're done with it, nothing about that fish is healthy. They've deep fried the shit out of everything. Like,
I mean, what do you think fish and chips is, Tom?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, we have entire restaurants that's the whole menu is deep fried everything. Catfish.
That's the easiest cooking job I've ever had.
I'm saying there's nothing to it. It's delicious, but it's terrible for you. Of course,
it's a rare treat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of a side.
I was gonna say, we find out here that Jake is taking Michelle to Paris. Ted instantly reacts to that. And so Ted, when he gets nervous, tends to make light of things. So he makes a joke about which Paris, whether it's the one in Texas, Arkansas, or Ohio, or actually there's 3 Parises in Ohio. She says it's the Paris, the one in France. And Ted, without saying, it'll come back. We'll find out what he's thinking.
Well,
Jack
did you know the Paris, Texas?
I've been to Paris, Texas.
I've not been, but I know it.
There's a film of the same name, Paris, Texas, which is about a man and his son trying to find his wife.
I did not know.
There you go.
Yeah, you see, it could be.
Nice
Could
connected tissue.
not be.
I did Google whether there was 3 Parises in Ohio, and there are.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Most American places are named after European places because
there's 2 Liverpools in America. I found out.
There's about 8 matches.
I mean, after the first Paris in Ohio, you can stop now. Like when whoever
delivered mail.
What? Yeah. Whenever the group of white dudes got together, let's just name this town Paris. Excuse me. There's already. Is there? Shit. Well, let's think of something else. But no, they just kept going.
An accident.
Yeah. Yeah. Before there's mail.
You're called Paris as well. Could you not think of anything else? Nah, it's done now. We've got the signs printed up.
Yeah, it's too late. We've already told everybody. So we go to Keeley's house next, and her and Jack are waking up together. Jack's phone goes off. Her Uncle Bernie's invited her to a swanky polo event, and she invites Keeley. Keeley says, it's the one time I've been on a horse was for a photo shoot years ago. Horse was so drugged up, it could have been the guitarist and the Sex Pistols. That was awesome line.
Mm-hmm.
Really good. Keeley's obviously worried about it.
I haven't seen it as well. Watch the Disney series about the Sex Pistols.
Keep meaning to watch that.
It's very, very good. The guy that plays Steve Jones is great, but the guy who plays John Lydon is tremendous as John Lydon. Yeah. Well worth a watch.
I started a Run DMC documentary yesterday for a 6M podcast, so I have to put that on the list. Keeley's obviously worried about it. Jack tells her they don't play. They just stand around drinking. Jack wants to show her off, so Keeley's excited, and it gives her an excuse to go to Harvey Nick's. It turns out Uncle Bernie is actually Bernard Arnault. Yeah. He runs Moe and Louis Vuitton. And she goes nuts because she's a girl. Why wouldn't she go nuts? Then Keeley gets a text.
I don't know what those words mean. Yeah, they go back to doing like some kissing and mucking about, and then like her phone keeps going off. She's like, I get it. Yeah.
And we don't get to see what's said, but we figure it out later, and we'll come back to it. But that's sort of the backbone of what's happening in this episode. Nate's in bed, and for a change, you can see Nate's checking his phone, but he's not really grieving over anything or stressing over anything because lying next to him is good old robotic Jade. She's there with him.
See, you hate Jade.
Never stop.
I hate Henry. It's fine. We all have our crosses to bear.
And I'm thinking, it's girl of your dreams is next to you. Put the damn phone down. But she wakes up and notices he's already been up to brush his teeth. Of course he has. He's already took care of all that before she wakes up. He invites her to breakfast. And then he says, I don't have any meals planned with anybody else in the foreseeable future.
Such a strange sentence.
He's such an awkward man.
He is. He's stuttering. He goes, do you? She goes, no, I don't. He says, so, if someone were to ask about us, what terminology would you best recommend describes our relationship? No, there's no pressure to label us, you and I. Just, no pressure. And she goes, all right. And that's it.
I think like that's the thing though. Like she's letting him get his awkwardness out of his system, isn't she?
You gotta like lance that boil occasionally. Yeah.
Yeah. Like she knows he's awkward. She knows like he doesn't spit on mirrors anymore. He's back to being like Richmond Nate.
This is the upturn of the Nate redemption. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the real Nathan Shelley. It's not as I say, it's not spitting on mirrors, ripping down posters. It's actual awkward, overthinking everything, panicking about everything Nate. So she obviously likes him. She's just letting him get it out of his system.
But she likes Nate. She doesn't like Nate. You know what I mean?
She likes Nate. She doesn't like Nathan Shelley.
I think it's when the humiliation of his date with Anastasia, or whatever she was called, and she saw that he's a man out of his depth.
Yeah.
Like,
well, again, like when like he's like been stood up by her and he's like eating the meal on his own, and she lets him get like all that negativity out of his system, and comes over and makes a joke at his expense, and it's
the
like
baklava is divine.
yeah. And then he's like, oh, okay. She likes it. It's I think she does it as her kind of like defense mechanism for dealing with Nate's awkwardness and him kind of overthinking everything.
I also like the fact that when she's dressed and she goes to kiss him and she's like, "Have you shaved?" And he's like, "Yeah," and I showered and went for a shit next door as well.
Yeah,
like that's psychotic behavior.
Because he doesn't want to do well. Yeah,
I mean,
again,
but then the thing is, she's like, "All right, whatever," and then like, do you hear her having a wee? So she doesn't care. Like, there's no. I don't know whether it was her running the shower or her having a wee. And he's just like, "Oh, okay. I don't have to like hide this."
Yeah, she's like letting Nate get it all out of his system to then counteract it and just be like quite aloof about everything.
Yeah, I generally thought she was going to whip the duvet back and he had a full suit on underneath, like the Halloween heist in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah. It's a weird road to go down, so we don't have to do it. But in that moment, they made the sound effects so loud. I thought, is she a she? Like, I know that's a weird thing to suggest, but I'm like, that would have been an interesting road to go down. But like, they went out of their way to make it so loud. And plus, she put jeans on before she went to the bathroom. She didn't just have underwear on. She put full pants on and then went. And I thought, I wonder, not that they were, because I don't know. But it makes me wonder, was that a road they were thinking about exploring, but they didn't? I don't know. That would have been interesting to me.
I think it was just to show that, like, while he's done all this stuff to, like, hide and make himself this perfect man, she's just like, this is me, warts and all.
Yeah.
Women pee, you know what I mean?
I think it's to, again, it's to show the counterbalance there of Nate's, like, overthinking everything and super awkward. She's just very relaxed and aloof about and chilled and laid back about everything, and it's why they work so well together.
Yes.
I do find it was quite funny when he hears this. He's just like, wow. Like he's astonished at how open she is. So
she's not got the door open or anything. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Yeah. So we're back to Keeley's place, her and Jack. And this time we know what's going on. That she has discovered that her private data has been leaked online and it's not exactly PG-13. We see a little bit of it, and we can hear Criminal by Fiona Apple in the background. Apparently, it's a massive leak, and it's happened to politicians, some singers, some random reality show guy. Keeley is panicking, afraid that her friends and family, the team, and her office will all see it. Jack goes to comfort her, and we have no reason to believe this will get worse because Jack is awesome in this moment, and she's there for her, and she's like, I'm going to take care of it. Don't worry. More on that to come. This is a real life thing. This has happened multiple times because people don't have a life and they just like to hack for the sake of hacking. And then your stuff's all over the internet for people to see. Not always folks like us, but folks with money. It happens all the time. So
no one wants to see my pictures on my phone. It's all the dog.
Mine is cats. A lot of cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome to them.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the locker room, Will is showing off his work to Henry, and he's timing Henry to put the towels up correctly. And the guys are watching this in Ted's office. Roy says, is this a game or child labor? Trent says, in late stage capitalism, what's the difference?
What's the difference? I was like, bam, Trent.
Beard says, word, which is good. Ted is obviously worried about what Michelle told him at breakfast. So he decides to talk to the guys, and he says, fellas, let me ask you something. If you could propose to someone, anywhere in the world, where would you do it? Roy says, Paris. Coach Beard says, the Hall of Mirrors at Lindelhof Palace in Germany, because if she agreed, I'd be surrounded by 1,000 yeses. Or Paris.
Which is deep. Yeah.
And it tells him that Jake's going to propose to Michelle. And Roy says, oh, I'm so sorry, Ted. Do you want to talk about it? Yes, I do. Diamond Dogs mount up. Roy goes, oh, never fucking mind.
Stomps off.
Yeah. It is showing, though, Roy's getting closer
Oh, he so wants to be there,
He's
but it's
so
all the
close,
all the
like-
nonsense of it.
Yeah,
And he's still
yeah.
listening as well.
Yeah, like he's trying to be a good friend to Ted, and then as soon as they do this, and he's got no time for their silly nonsense, he's like, no.
Like Beard just picks up the phone and goes, "Arr."
Yep.
And then hangs up, and then 30 seconds later, Higgins comes in, puffing and panting. Like
Trent's like, what's going on? What's the Diamond Dogs? Roy goes, it's a living fucking nightmare. Beard says the Diamond Dogs are a group of men committed to supporting each other by sharing their most intimate thoughts, feelings, and experiences. You in or out? Trent goes, oh, I'm in. And Roy bangs on his desk and says, God damn it. Beard says, Roy chose out. And Trent says, yeah, I assumed. And then, again, camera work. They never move the camera. We see Higgins like this, running for his life to the door. It's so good.
puffing and panting. I ran down some stairs and up another flight of stairs.
Just came as fast as I could. Beard says, take your time. Ted says, hey, we appreciate your expediency. And Higgins is like, I got a little bit lightheaded.
It's so good.
Comedic timing, and this is brilliant.
It's wonderful. They welcome Trent as the newest member, and Ted begins. He says, Dr. Jacob and Michelle are getting engaged. Higgins says, ooh, it's a hard moment when the ex moves on. Did he at least ask your permission? He goes, well, I'm her ex-husband, not her current father, so no. Beard says, how'd you find out? He took her to Paris. Can you believe that? And Roy from the next room just leans over. He goes, that's it? Beard's like, unbelievable. Higgins is like, Ted, I ran down the stairs for this and up some other stairs. I'm going to have leg cramps in my sleep tonight. Trent says, can I just speak anytime? They all three go at him. So good. Trent says, Ted, you can't worry about something that hasn't happened yet. Higgins like, ooh, what he said. If anything, you should find out before you flip out. That should be framed. I need that in my life.
Yeah.
Find out.
Yeah.
Yes. But find out before you flip out. Ted says, okay, and asks if anyone has anything else. Ted goes, Roy? Roy goes, fuck you. He says, okay. They end with the usual barking, and Trent just goes, woof.
Woof.
Cool. So we've got a new member in the Diamond Dogs. And speaking of Diamond Dogs, it's wonderful.
This killed me.
Yes.
So I'd forgot this scene even existed.
Same. We go to Nate's office. We see Roger, who we've seen before, and Disco comes in. I love
so
Disco.
happy when Disco come back.
Am I in trouble? Is he in trouble? He's like...
Nate calls Mrs. Cakes, still the best name ever, to see if Rupert was on his way to the special meeting. She goes, no, he's not coming to that. And he's like, is he busy? No.
Click.
That's it. Nathan says, I guess it's just us for the very first meeting of the, drumroll please, Love Hounds. And then he starts to do the howl. It's almost, yes,
it's
embarrassing.
Disco fucking hates every minute of this, though.
Disco has no time for this. He wants to just be off discoing.
I thought
talking about his divorces.
Yeah. I thought we could get together whenever we needed to, just help each other out with things and how they're going in our personal lives. And Roger says, okay, well, I'd love to talk about the stresses of taking care of my aging parents. Yeah, no, I'll start. So I love how he cuts him off. It's so good. I've started seeing this girl and it's going really well. I really like her. She's great, but she's hesitant to label our relationship. And I don't know whether to give her a space or whether just let her know how strongly I feel about us being together. Disco, you got any thoughts? And he's like, I've been divorced 3 times. Never let them know how you feel. It's very expensive. It's awesome. Roger says, okay, I read this book that said, if you like a woman, you should insult her. Disco nods like, that's a good idea, right?
Yeah, that's why you're 3 times divorced, pal. Yeah.
Nate's like, okay, well.
Very 90s, like negging, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's that, not the Prince of Persuasion, because that's Bob's Burgers, but there was a guy, there was a TV show about it, of like this. I remember he had a big hat on, a big furry, like Jamiroquai hat on. And he was like, I can teach you how to talk to women. And it was like a reality thing, and it was the most car crash thing I've ever seen. But
yeah,
like
it sounds horrible.
It's yeah.
Nate's response is, okay, well, this meeting's over. It'll probably never happen again.
What?
And as they're leaving,
Two
Roger
worst
says,
people.
"Are we in trouble now? No. And he just,
But this is equally important again to getting Nate where he needs to go, because he's obviously realizing that he doesn't have that. He can't have that at West Ham, where he's gone because he wants to be in the position Ted's in.
Yeah.
But he can't have all the stuff that Ted brought with him, because that's stuff that Ted brought to Richmond and is part of his like psychology in the club. Whereas Nate's is just like, well, Rupert's is like the Empire from Star Wars, isn't it? And it's very elitist. It's very regimental.
He's lost his support network that
Yeah.
Ted had in. Cause again, when we get to the bit in the locker room in a bit, like it's everyone's there for everyone. Like it's I don't want to use the word family because but it is that thing of we might work together, but we also got to look out for each other. And all he's got is Roger and Disco.
Yeah.
And again, not the two brightest, pennies in the dirty change.
Disco's great though.
Disco is tremendous. The more I find out about Disco, the more I want to know about Disco.
He's literally like the anti-Beard.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
He's like Beard, but more evil. Because, Beard's got like a roguish streak to him.
It's Beard in the multiverse.
In Star Wars terms, Beard's Han Solo and Disco is Boba Fett.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah. Again, I don't think that's a fair comparison. Because we don't know enough about Beard.
We didn't know enough about Boba Fett until they decided to give him a massive backstory in a TV series.
Yeah, all right.
Just a cool
well,
guy.
If we get a Coach Disco backstory spin-off, 100% on board.
I'm here for it.
We see back the Disco verse. I love it.
Beats the crap out of Disco Inferno with a chair like La Parka.
Yeah. And we're talking shoot, not a work. So I'm here.
Just legitimate. Every week it's just him wailing on him with different equipment.
Don't even pay Disco Inferno to be there, and he still keeps turning up.
No, he doesn't know he's in the show.
No.
It's like punked but violent. Yeah.
We here at Two Nations Under Ted vehemently oppose everything Disco Inferno stands for.
Yep.
Fuck Len Gilberti.
I'm saying.
I didn't want to say his name because I wasn't sure of the pronunciation, but yeah.
It doesn't matter.
If I got that right or wrong.
It doesn't matter. He's a waste of space.
He's a nothing man.
Yeah.
Yes. Back at the dog track.
In his mouth that time.
Back at the dog track, Ted goes in to see Rebecca, and she says, "What about training?" He goes, "Don't worry, I got it took care of." And then we see on the pitch. It's so awesome. Henry's
it's like a Family Guy throwaway joke.
Yes,
I got training started, and it's just Henry doing keepy uppies while all the rest of the team are cheering him on. That's training today. You're on the hottest streak of your careers, and your training is watching a 12-year-old kid play football.
That's so good.
It's weirdly worked.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, "Hey," and they're cheering and like hugging him and stuff. So Ted here, kids, decides to tell Rebecca that he needs to hire a PI because of Jake's upcoming proposal. I've been in weird places with women over the years where I don't know where she's at, and weird things go through your head, and you're thinking, "Nah, don't be like that," right? But I've never been to the point of I'm gonna have to hire somebody. Check this out. Like, I can't imagine. I don't know.
If you're at that point, walk away.
Walk away.
Yeah. But interestingly, Rebecca's trying to talk him out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the voice of reason.
Yeah, and again, it's because obviously of the making the Keeley stuff disappear, and then revealing that she was behind it. Ted knows she's got people who can find out this shit for her.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, she's existed in a scummy world for a while.
Yeah, that's why he's literally asked Rebecca about outright asked her for it, because the Diamond Dogs have told him to calm down and he's overthinking it. And he's still thinking about it, and he can't stop thinking about it.
Plus, he knows she'll keep it confidential.
Oh yeah.
And they have a nice Yeah, they have a nice little back and forth. And she's like, they visit Paris for all kinds of reasons. Yeah, like getting engaged. No, they go to eat the amazing food after getting engaged, or they go to see Oscar Wilde's grave before they get engaged. No, or they visit the Louvre to make fun of all the people taking blurred pictures of an overrated painting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where'd you and Rupert get engaged? That doesn't matter. Aha, see? It was great because he nailed her. He got her. He says right now,
Dr. Romance as well.
Dr. Romance. Dr. Romance is probably getting ready to pop the question in front of the Eiffel Tower, the most romantic friggin' place in the world. And she says, "Oh, please, the Eiffel Tower is just a lamppost with a publicist." That's a great one.
One of the best lines in the entire show.
It is. It's just a big.
Yeah.
Paris is all right.
I've never been.
It's the most romantic place in the world. It's very crowded. It's a lot of dog mess from what I remember when I was there.
Yeah.
And it's very French. And as an American, I doubt they're going to have learned, the language and stuff. And the Parisians have French turned up to 10. Yeah.
Yeah. They are.
If you haven't seen that clip of that American lass who went there and was like, I bought a French hat. She's got a beret on, and no one would talk to me because you weren't speaking French, mate. The French, and they're from Paris. That's as French as it gets.
That's pretty much just Europe in general, though, for some places, isn't it?
But you at least learn, please, thank you, hello, minimum effort.
But then the other side of that is when I went to Berlin, having studied German for 2.5 years, I tried to speak to someone in German, and they made me feel like an absolute dickhead because they could tell I was foreign, and they were just talking to me in English while I was trying to speak German. I'm like, well, I've learned this for nothing.
No, but again, it's just make an effort. That's I've always done. At least learn, please, hello, thank you, when you go to places.
Germans are Germans anyway, aren't they?
Yeah. I think it's
I love Germans, but they're difficult people.
The European belief of British people just going sausage, egg, and chips and pointing at a menu is not 100, percent wrong, because a lot of people are very ignorant.
Sadly.
Moving on.
Rebecca says, "Ted, I'll make the call." So I find it interesting that she, I guess she saw that he wasn't going to let it go, and they're friends, and she's like, you know what? I'll do it. It's fine.
Do you think she did?
Good question.
Well, she does call him about it later, doesn't she? But
but she doesn't tell him anything.
Doesn't
ever tell him anything. So I think she did, purely because he's insisted on it, and it's I think she's, because I feel like she's her trying to talk him out of it later in the episode is you're not gaining anything from knowing either way. What difference does it make?
Yeah.
Again, to go back to Trent's point, you can't worry about things that haven't happened yet.
Yeah.
Find out before you flip out. Yep.
Oh yeah, it's a weird thing to mention, but it's the PI thing is in front of me. My mom never knew who her dad was. And so later in life, she had actually called a PI back when you could just pick up the yellow pages and call people. Weird, right? But she calls and actually gets the guy on the phone and tells the situation. It's like, I've got a name, but that's all I have. I'm not sure where I have no idea where this guy even is. And he tells her, he's like, look, I'm happy to do some work for you. He's like, here's what I charge. And he said, just be prepared. What you find out may not be what you want to hear. He said, this man could be dead. He could be in prison. He could be a rapist. He could be living 5 minutes away. There's no telling what I'll find. And he actually told her, take the day and think about it. Yeah. And when she thought about it, she's like, I don't know. I don't think I want to know,
That's a very good PI then.
Yeah.
Because
right.
I will do it, but you might not like what you find. And
be prepared, because you may not like what you hear.
There is an element of security in the unknown. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Good call.
It's like Pandora's box, isn't it?
Yeah,
definitely.
Once you open that and everything's let out, you can't put it all back in.
No, you know that then.
Yep. For sure. I like how he says, all right, thank you. He says, by the way, I didn't know Oscar Wilde was dead. Some of his quotes feel so modern, so of our time. She's like, I know, powerful. And it's funny because they continue to have that connection. You know what I mean?
That shows as well, though, that Ted's researched this like altercation. Like he's literally researched it.
Things in Paris to do.
Very good.
So when Rebecca brings it up, then he can have it like a retort to it.
He's got it backed up. Yeah. He's a very world wise man, though, isn't he, Ted, as well? But yeah. How would you not know? He'd be 100 and something if Oscar Wilde was still alive.
Yeah, sure would.
And back in Keeley's office, she's reading the comments on her video that's been posted. Barbara comes in and tells her she's sorry about what's happened. She hands her a statement that Jack wants her to read. It's saying she apologizes.
Yeah.
She never should have made the video. And it's her begging for forgiveness as she learns and grows. And I'm like, to me, this is a massive hell and no. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing that.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because when Barbara walks in, you can see she's like empathetic towards Keeley and she feels uncomfortable by the whole situation. And also you can tell like this probably isn't the first time Barbara's had to do something like this.
Yeah.
But because Keeley's the first person who's actually engaged Barbara as a human being and not as just Barbara from like accounting.
Yeah.
You can see that there's like remorse that Barbara's actually showing having to do this. Like
she looks genuinely.
He hates this whole exchange.
But she's like when she says, "I'm so sorry about what's happened." There's a genuine bit of this is shitty. Like,
well, this is the thing. Like, there's only a few times with this whole thing where, with Keeley, where I think the main thing she wants, she doesn't want people's sympathy, but she does want empathy.
Yeah,
and
it could have been any of them.
Yeah, and Jack obviously immediately goes business head, and
damage limitation.
Yeah, and Barbara's the first person to actually show Keeley any empathy, regardless. Like, and you can see like it disarms Keeley. Like she's like, oh, thanks, like thanks for saying that, Barbara. And then obviously.
It's like as Keeley reads that statement out, though, you can see in her face, she's like, I'm not saying this.
Yeah, but you can see how upset she is to read it as well. And then, again, it's like they're trying to make Keeley ashamed of what's happened to her when she's the victim in this. She's not.
Yes, exactly. There you go. Exactly.
She shouldn't be apologizing because she's not done anything fucking wrong. But loads of people do this sort of stuff. Yeah,
like it could be you next, and then like you should be on the side of that. But someone's taken personal, private information and given it to the world, and that's not on. Like,
and
but her going, "I'm sorry, I did this." No, you shouldn't be sorry you did this.
But again, it's with Keeley. Like, there's a few times in this episode where she just gets like sometimes unwittingly, and sometimes it's more like just. Like, we'll get to the unwittingly one, and sometimes it's more just like it's more just like with Jack, it feels like it's her kind of trying to preserve her own image as opposed to how Keeley feels. Whereas, as I say, Barbara comes in, she shows empathy to Keeley immediately, and giving her the statement, you can see she's got like remorseful doing just that, and she hates that she's got to do that because. Again, Keeley's the first person to like treat Barbara like she's actually a person.
Yeah, it's a very good little scene where not a lot happens, but we find out a lot of information about those two people and their relationship to each other.
Yeah,
for sure. Because she tells Jack thought you could post this across your socials, but maybe not Facebook because that's just for grandparents and racists now, isn't it?
Grandparents and racists.
Keeley is upset. She gets her things and walks out. Back in the locker room, Colin is asking for body spray and asks Jamie if he has Lynx. I'm guessing this is like Axe body spray, is it?
Yeah, it's literally Axe.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But his array of it in that cupboard.
Yeah, well, like there's the whole joke that it's mainly like teenage boys who wear it over here. It's like the first like sort of deodorant that they get. but also like it was mainly in the 90s, wasn't it, where they tried to push it as in like as if it was like this
person's thing. Yeah.
Yeah, if it was like a love potion almost for fucking teenagers. And
some of the adverts are shocking if you go back and watch them.
They try and have like footballers like endorse it, wouldn't they, and stuff like it being adverts for it.
I don't mind Lynx Africa, to be fair. You get a set of it every Christmas off your auntie or something.
So, someone will get you a set with like Lynx and shower gel in for sure.
Yeah.
I used to get
over here
every year.
Yeah. Over here is just for creepy dude bros that might be date rapists. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's usually.
Yeah.
Colin said, listen, the answer is awesome. Can I get some links? Yeah, sure, mate. What's your pit flavor? I've got pit flavor. I've got Epic Fresh, Sport Recharge, Java, Africa, Ice Chill, Gold, Excite, Black, Dark Temptation, and Leather and Cookies.
Yeah.
That's so voodoo. Funny to me.
No. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Did he still make voodoo?
I don't know. It's just from the Alan Partridge bit, isn't it? Like, but yeah. It's,
I remember voodoo. Yeah, I remember voodoo.
Leather and cookies. What?
Leather and cookies.
That's a night in.
Jamie says, smart choice for a smart boy. It's good.
It's the way that Jamie like just hits the cover and it just opens slowly.
Yeah. Yeah. There's an assortment, like a grocery counter right there.
I think he's Sex Panther in Anchorman.
Yeah. But again, it shows like obviously Jamie went from sitting in that corner on his own and then Zabba's come in and now Jamie's like fully ingratiated with the team. Like he's there's only little things they do to kind of develop Jamie now because he's kind of like reaching the end of his journey. But this is like one little thing where it's like, oh yeah, he's fully on board with everyone now.
So the word of what's going on, what the Sun is calling the Great Awakening, is pop. Well, it's you grimace because that's what they would really call it.
It's just when they all literally go, yeah, remember what we say, fuck the sun, and I'm like, they get it.
Yep. There's the data leak. The guys are all debating whether or not it's okay to look at any of it, who owns the pics, etc. It was their private property. If you don't want your private pics out there, just don't take naked pics, especially being famous. Jamie and Isaac are the voices of reason here, which Jamie, a locker room leader, could you have imagined in season 1 we ever would have said those words?
No, but he's right. Jamie spits some truth here. Yeah.
The only people to blame are the dickheads who steal your shit and put it online. That's why I delete all the photos on my phone. I swear down, especially because I'm famous.
Again, there's still those Jamie moments of just complete incomprehension of the room. But
yeah.
Sam says, go ahead, Jay.
I was going to say it's interesting that they're all kind of divided on it until they find out that Keeley was one of the victims.
Good call.
And then it unites the entire team to go, nope, we're not doing this.
Because it could have been any of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When it's someone you know, it becomes more real, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I was, man, stuff that just comes back to you. Years ago, we had Missy Hyatt come in for a weekend show. Wrestling, everybody calm down. And so it had been revealed that because she had that website going with Tammy Sitch at the time. And, they were all kinds of naked, making money. I don't judge. It is what it is.
What you do, isn't it? Yeah.
Sure. But one of the guys said, people are taking those photos and making money off of them and posting them on other websites. It's like, if you see that, don't mess with it, out of respect. Now, no matter what you might think of somebody, she is just trying to earn a living. And I'm like, that was cool. Locker room full of sweaty pro wrestling dudes. And someone in the year 2000 had presence of mind to say that. And I'm like, wow, interesting.
Yeah. Right on.
Sam says, I like this line. Whenever I have a relationship in, I ask the girl to get through my phone, delete any photos, videos, whatever she wants. One girl actually deleted Candy Crush. And all the guys are like, oh. I was devastated, but I also understood. So Colin says, sometimes, once someone sends you a photo, don't you own it? And that's what, we're talking about. It leads up to them finding out that Keeley's involved. They talk about copyright law and product photography. It's quite murky, Jan Moss says, which is good.
Jan Moss, it's a gray area.
Yeah. Jan's so educated. I think well beyond what people give him credit for.
Oh, yeah.
So Danny's like, it's
Don't we
about
get
doing what's
a
right.
bit more conspiracy theory as well from Bumbercatch at this point as well? Like, he's fully in the tinfoil hat, birds aren't real brigade now, isn't he? Yeah.
As he says, no one can steal your memories. Bumbercatch goes, that's not entirely true. With a straight face. What if it was a Christmas card? What if I took the photo? What if it's artsy? Sonograms? What if I'm French, Richard says.
Oh, Richard's fantastic in this scene.
What if she's naked, but it's not sexual? She's just defecating. What the hell?
The fact that we do get other people we don't know who are on the team doing bits in this as well. It's just a nice, again, it's the classic locker room confusion and going way off topic at times sort of thing they do so well.
What if it's a commissioned painting? Is it in a nice frame? It's leaning against my couch. No, delete it.
Get rid of it.
Colin is uptight. I shouldn't have to delete my photos just because they might get stolen. It's my stuff. Don't touch it. Every time Colin talks, you guys, you can see Isaac is getting more and more pissed off.
Yeah.
Because it looks like Colin's disputing. If I got pictures of a naked girl, it's my pics. I don't care. That's what Isaac is.
When they do the great unwankening joke or whatever, he's like, well, I know what I'm doing this weekend. He's still keeping this illusion alive because nobody knows apart from, and it's Trent. Trent's the only one that knows, actually, isn't it, at this point? But yeah, it does seem like, knowing what we know that why he doesn't want that to happen. But like I said, Isaac doesn't know.
I thought it was, he doesn't know. He'll find out shortly. I was going to say, I do love the bit where Will's deleting stuff on his phone and Jamie just looked and he's like, wow. Just seeing like, who's sending Will some tawdry stuff here? That's great.
That jazz couple, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
jazz couple. Yeah. Wonderful.
Jazz flute, baby.
Colin leaves the room. That could be way dirtier than you meant it.
That's how I meant it.
Well, there you go. Okay, well, there you go. Colin leaves the room and Isaac follows him. Colin's like, I think he tells him to fuck off, and Isaac has had enough. He takes his phone. We can figure out what he's seeing.
Yeah.
And then he hands the phone back and he's, not happy. You can tell, and walks off. And like at the time, I wasn't trying to think, well, he's anti, he's not, he's homophobic or whatever.
That's the path it's trying to lead you down, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. But I did think, man, what a dick move. Like, I don't know. Give him something like
someone's phone off him.
Yeah, it really is none of your business. Like,
no, it could have been someone that they both knew or something. He didn't want to upset him. Like, there's many reasons.
Sure.
He was still sat there deleting stuff. He just didn't want to do it in front of other people. Especially when you've got Jamie rubbernecking over you, like, understandable.
But we know
and
now.
also, given how close quarters they are in the in there as well, like he's literally gone away to do it for a reason.
Had to,
But because of him kind of protesting it, like Isaac's instantly like, he's trying to get out of this.
Yeah. Isaac's right, but also deleting stuff off your phone doesn't remove it from iCloud anyway.
It doesn't.
So, no.
Yeah, the whole bit's really well set up because it does take you down different paths, and it'll circle back around in the next episode, I believe.
I think it is, yeah.
So we go, Keeley's in Rebecca's office. Her and Rebecca are finally having and they don't get many of these moments since Jack arrived, where they can kind of bond, reconnect. Keeley says, I tried to watch the video this morning. Immediately, boom, I was right back to being 15 again. Reliving that moment where this topless photo I took for Jimmy Daniels was being passed around at school. She goes, oh, teenage boys can be awful. And she says, Mr. Daniels was my teacher. Oh, well, men who act like teenage boys actually are awful. So,
yep.
And she's like, I'm not an idiot. I know there are tons of topless photos of me online, but those were my choice. And Rebecca says, absolutely, it makes a huge difference. Is there anything I can do to help? She says, restructure society so women aren't constantly sexualized while simultaneously being crucified for being sexual. Love it.
Boom. Walk away.
Love it.
That's it. Yeah, it's a tremendous line, and she's bang on the money with it.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Then, but Rebecca just goes, "I'm on it." Like she can't do nothing. But it's just hearing your friend vent at this point, isn't it?
It look, and we're not going to defend all of our species because not all of us are nice people on this side.
No, again, you can't generalize everyone.
Sure. But like as a man, when you see a woman posting a lot of cleavage, you may have a thought go through your head. You don't need to do that. But most of us keep it to ourselves and don't pass judgment and think she's a horrible person. That's what makes us different.
Everyone's got to make a living somehow. Sex work is work.
Yeah. It's really just because people post photos doesn't make it your business. You don't have to look at it. Right?
Just walk up. Yeah. Again, you don't have to comment on everything. Just walk away.
Yes. Keeley says, should I be ashamed or embarrassed? And Rebecca is dumbstruck at that. She's like, what? No. How did Jack respond? She goes, like, she was really lovely. And then I got this from her. Rebecca's like, oh, she didn't write this. This is
it's
Kate.
got the stink of lawyer on it.
Yep. So you don't want to say that, do you? She goes, no. She goes, then tell her that. Give her a chance to surprise you. There might be a silver lining in all this. Just think of how many young women you're going to teach how to masturbate properly. Keeley pops off that. And she's like, I'm serious. Back in the day, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And then one day I accidentally bumped into my parents' couch and it felt nice, so I stuck with it. Your plan's a great line.
A year later, we had to reupholster the sofa.
I blame the dog.
We didn't have a dog.
That was my we didn't have a dog.
But again, it's that thing of like disarming a situation, which Ted Lasso does very well with humor. Like it just takes her out of it, and it's just her and her mate having a laugh. And for the next 5 minutes, I don't have to worry about this. I'm just, it's a lovely thing. It's a great scene. But the line about the Keeley's line about constantly being sexualized while being called out for being sexualized. It's so good.
Bang on the money.
It is. We go back to the locker room. Richard is deleting his pics. He's like,
on his own. He spent everyone else has done theirs and gone
because he's still there. Yeah. Also, French sisters, Spanish twins, mom and daughter in Mexico. I'll miss you all. And he's so good. Oh, Roy talks to Keeley in the car park, and he tells her, I heard about what happened. Are you okay? And it's very awkward as it has been probably since they broke up, but even more so now. And then Roy has to ask the question, who was it for? And she goes, what? He goes, the video. Who is it for? And then when she lowers her head, he realizes he made a mistake.
Yeah.
Again,
business, Roy.
As a man, it would be. Yeah.
He was doing so well until
he was doing so well until that line. I was like, oh, you
literally like just being there and comforting her, which if he's like torn up about it, that's all that fucking matters. Just being there for her.
Just say, I'm so sorry what happened.
Yeah.
If you need to talk or anything, I'm here. But then he can't help himself. And it's that of making it about him, and it's not about you, Roy.
As a man, we might have all thought that, but again, know when to keep your mouth shut. There's such a thing as discretion.
It's the same thing as like with Ted wanting to know whether Dr. Jake's gonna propose. It doesn't affect them knowing either way.
What good would it if he should have gone? It was for all right.
Yeah,
it's
literally just like the underlying theme in this episode is just that everyone's jealousy getting the better of them.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't say showing the true colors, because I don't think certainly with Roy and Ted, I think it's just more like insecurity than actually like showing that they're bad people. We'll get to the other one in a bit, but
they just got into their own heads too much.
Yeah. It's just like letting it like get to them, and obviously he's trying to do the right thing, and it's upset him to a degree, and obviously he's not thought about it. He's just said it, and it's like, yeah, you fucking idiot, Roy.
He knows as soon as he said it, because
as soon as he says it, he's like,
just turns and
so
walks
sorry.
off, gets in the car and drives off, and he's like, fuck. And it's like,
Yep.
yeah, you were so close, Roy, to doing like the bang on
He's
thing
doing
that she
so
needed
well.
at that point. Just exactly, just a friend being there to just be like, if you need me, I'm here. And you balls it right up, son.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bless him.
And the next bit we have is back at Keeley's place again. By the way, are you noticing a trend? We're never at Jack's place. It hit me. We keep going back to Keeley's, and there's a reason. We'll find out later. Maybe she doesn't want anybody to know. Like, get off me, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's getting a little weird. But that'll play out. And everything again seems fine right now, kids. Still, it doesn't seem fine. Jack comes in. She tells Keeley that she chose the most sensitive, empathetic person she knew to give her the statement, meaning Barbara, which was a nice little fun thing to say. And she tells Jack, she says,
sincere though, isn't she?
yeah.
Like she says that about Barbara, but then when you look at the scene with Barbara and how empathetic she was, and like, it's like she chose it thinking, oh yeah, I got the most professional person to do it. But then it's almost like she's making light of the fact that Barbara's been put in that awkward position to have to do that for Keeley. Keeley probably didn't want more people like having to discuss this with her than she did.
And again, it just leads to that thing of, I don't think this is the first time Jack's had to do this. Like,
no, and it's absolutely the whole time Jack's handling of it is self-preservation. There's nothing to do with like protecting Keeley. There's nothing to do with helping Keeley through this. It's all self-preservation because she's the big fucking I am.
Yep.
Yeah. She tells Jack she can't do it. Jack tells her it's okay. Let's pretend like it never happened. Keeley says, should we invite Barbara over and mess it all up? She goes, yeah, let's definitely do that. Keeley says, I'll bet she's a party animal. And Jack goes, you actually have no idea. And then she just walks off. And Keeley's like, really? I love that it's just hanging there.
I was hoping they were going to go down that road.
I want Beard and her on a night out.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
And not romantically, just as who can outweird the other one.
Yeah.
Just Beard, Barbara, and Will on a night out, and just
wow,
that's a trio of power there.
And in the shadows, Disco is in the shadows. I'm just saying, he's watching from a distance. He's thinking about hanging out. He's not sure yet. That's wonderful. Ted's reading Joe's favorite character, Henry, a bedtime story, and what's the book? Because I didn't get the cover of the book. What book is he reading?
I couldn't work out what it was. No,
I couldn't figure it out. See if I can find
Asim was right. Marcus thought they were failing, and worse than that, they were wasting time. They were going to wait another day before meeting. That would only leave 2 days, and one of them was Saturday when they wouldn't be at Breakfast Club.
It's is it not Marcus Rashford's autobiography?
Oh, is it?
I may be wrong, but I think I saw on the front cover of it Marcus Rashford, but I may be wrong.
Is this the guy we talked about in the last episode that was a football player that became he wrote kids' books after?
He still is a football player.
He still is a football player. He's the one that did all the. He's the one that did all the like giving
charity
school meals
to
kids during COVID and that. But the way that it's written and the way he's reading it reads like one of those terrible celebrity biographies. So it could be.
I do have notes here, by the way, so I may have actually got our own timeline confused, so my apologies. Marcus Rashford, who is Manchester United's iconic number 10 and an England international footballer, 24-year-old has made over 180 appearances for club, donning the captain's armband on one occasion, and has racked up 46 caps for country since breaking onto the scene in 2016 when he became the youngest English player to score in his first international match. In addition to his on-pitch activity, Marcus is renowned globally for being a child food poverty campaigner and best-selling children's author. Well done.
There you go.
Well done. Yeah, mad respect to that guy. Ted asked about Ted asked about the kid that Henry bullied before and if everything's still okay with him. Henry says, yep, we're starting a band. Ted says, starting a band? Really? All right. What instrument are you going to play? He says, drums. He goes, well, okay, well, your mom's going to love that. You know what? Now might be a good time to let you know what Dave Grohl learned to play. He learned to play drums on pillows. We don't have to tell your mom that day right away. It's good. Ted fishes around for info about Jake. He's wondering if he reads to him at night. And Henry's talking until he isn't, because eventually he falls asleep. So again, things that you're thinking, maybe you don't say out loud. Maybe Ted shouldn't be fishing with his kid about Jake, but it is his kid, so he wants to know what's going on. But at the same time, I kind of get it. So
it's a gray area. Yeah.
It's a gray area, as Disco said. Who was it said it was gray?
Yamas.
Yamas. Yeah.
Excuse me. Trying to make this a Disco episode. That's what I'm doing. Nate wakes up alone and immediately checks his phone. But this time, he's not checking social media. He checks his text. Things have changed very well for this guy. Jade's texting him, telling him good morning. He begins to text, hey, babe, but then deletes it because he's still not sure. Plus, he doesn't really know what they are. And she didn't really say. So, yeah. Well, we'll find out later. Back to Jack
again, though.
Yeah.
Nate's
it's
good, big breakfast boy. Yeah.
He is. Back to Jack and Keeley. Keeley's wearing a brand new dress for the event. She looks like Smurfette in this dress. I gotta say,
it's Pretty Woman.
I was gonna say it's Pretty Woman.
It's very similar to the dress that Julia Roberts wears when she goes to the polo in Pretty Woman.
Interesting. Well,
the big hat especially is a
The rom-com.
I liked it so much because it's still got the tag on it. I liked it so much I just walked out. Just putting it behind it. Getting on with it. Retail therapy.
But Jack tells her that she's canceled the event, canceled them going because of everything that happened. Did that raise red flags for you about? Oh, see, I thought that too. Yeah,
straight away.
Yeah.
I canceled because I didn't think you want to go. No, I don't want to have to go with
you. Keeley wanted to go because she wanted to fucking not think about it, and also like Keeley's whole thing is just like getting out ahead of it.
Yeah,
like that's her whole thing. Jack doesn't want to fucking be ashamed of the fact that Keeley's just had this happen and everyone's going to be asking her questions.
Oh, you've seen Who's with Jack? That Lasso fapping video has been on the internet. It's self-preservation, and the fact that she tries to frame it as, I didn't think you'd want to go. I was like, at this point, I'm done. Get out of my house.
Yeah. Yeah, because again, there's starting to be some signs of things maybe not going too well here.
We'll go and get dressed up and we'll do something fun. And takes a where? Mini golf, where there's going to be nobody.
There'll be nobody there. Well, as far as she knows, there's going to be nobody there.
Well, again, when we get to that, but
back at Ted's place, they're trying to figure out what to do with their day. Beard says there's an immersive Jack the Ripper walking tour that Jane's been raving about. Of course,
don't do anything that Jane wants to do because
no.
Especially the child.
What's it? It's like it's 6 hours and you get chased at one point. That sounds awful.
What are you, nuts? I mean, he's a boy. Fine. There's the London Eye. There's the Tower of London. There's all the London stuff. Oh, there's a Raven Peckham. Yeah. All right, Coach. I appreciate it, but and he asked Henry, what do you want to do? We go to museums. We go rent a boat, float down the Thames. They spell it weird, but it is lovely. Thames. Apologies.
Thames ain't lovely. Thames is a fucking wretched.
It's all right now. There's fish in it now. And it did try to kill David Williams, so thumbs up for that.
Well, I mean, actually, that's true. All things can be forgiven.
I knew this word before most people I knew it as a kid because the Danger Mouse cartoon, the Thames logo, the production company would raise up on the screen. I'm like, I know that.
Television. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That was the
yeah. Wonderful. Maybe my next podcast will be Danger Mouse. I freaking love that cartoon.
Do you reckon Higgins is based on Tenfold?
Oh, shut up!
Yeah.
They've got the same energy, haven't he, Higgins and Tenfold?
He's got the same suit and glasses and everything. Oh God!
A question: what animal is Penfold?
Penfold's a hamster.
He is. Well done.
Yeah.
Is he? I thought he was a mole.
No, he's a hamster.
I'm a fan, baby.
Yeah, no, 100%. He's a
bigger fan than I am,
God, I love that stuff. I got to stop or I'll start quoting. We'll be here all day. Oh, I love that comparison with Higgins. That's freaking on point. Damn. So Henry says, I want to go see a football game. It says, let me get this straight. My one day off from football. You want to go watch football? It's like asking a mailman to go for a walk on his day off, don't you think? Yeah, you don't care. You're just a little boy, ambivalent as all heck. All right, coach. You got any games in town today? And Beard says, there's one, but I'm going to have to stop at home first because Beard's got to put his uniform. It's lovely.
His training gear on, yeah. I also like the
Love
fact that Beard's just making pancakes for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a nice, like, home situation they've got there.
Great. We then see them at the West Ham game. Beard is wearing his coaching gear because he's a legend.
Flipping everyone off.
Yep. Henry's yelling for Nate.
As the
Disco hears it.
Forever blown bubbles.
Disco hears him yelling for Nate, and Nate finally turns around, and they're like this, and Ted's like this. What are you gonna do? Kid wanted to come. What you gonna do?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It shows that Ted harbors no ill will. Like,
but the thing is, Nate's like genuinely caught off guard by that.
Yeah,
like he doesn't wait back because he's keeping up appearances for bastard man Rupert, but he's not like he's not as much of a prick as he would have been about it like earlier in the season.
Again, if it had happened earlier on, he would have gone into the locker room and started lambasting people or something, wouldn't he? Like he'd have took his frustrations out.
He would have got them removed immediately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the end of the match anyway, isn't it? I think.
No, it's the start of the match.
Is it? Oh, okay. Yeah, it would be because they're singing, aren't they? Yeah.
Disco says they must be looking for tips. So Jack and Keeley are playing miniature golf. By the way, in this country, we also call it putt-putt.
Yes.
Yeah? I didn't know if they did it over there
Crazy
or not.
golf. Yeah.
We call it crazy golf or mini golf.
Jack
It's the
says
new thing.
that's usually a thing we do on vacation if we go to the beach or like to Tennessee, because Tennessee's got like tourist towns.
Like adult ones where you can drink as you go around and stuff. It's kind of crap.
I like the one we've got in Liverpool.
It's fine, but it's golf. How exciting can you make golf?
Depends
Not
on what you
really.
drink.
That depends on anything, though, couldn't it? Like,
Yeah. That's
Jack says, isn't this way better than watching polo with a bunch of all white men? Keeley says, definitely. And I reckon the dinosaurs here are much less handsy. So Jack sees some women she knows and they call out to her. You notice that her and Keeley are kind of arm in arm, and then Jack pushes away the second.
Steps away. Yeah.
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 That's a red flag. And Keeley absolutely notices. And this girl named Alyssa comes down. She says, we went to uni together. And she says, and this is my friend, Keeley Jones. Keeley sees that as well.
More red flags than a semaphore convention. Yeah.
She runs a PR firm. You know, if you need anybody, she's your man, basically. She walks off, and Keeley's obviously bothered. And again, this is only going to get worse before it gets better. Back in Nate's office, he gets a text from Rupert saying, sorry about Ted being there today. Won't happen again.
So have you noticed, because I've been paying attention to what the texts say before. Yeah. Nate had to send Rupert his lineup to get approved.
Yep.
Which
is not
is
normally a thing, is it?
That ain't a fucking thing.
No.
That's like the owner is being an absolute control freak, but also it goes back to when Ted's playing darts with Rupert, and Rupert's saying, "What if I win, I have to approve all your team sheets and get Obasanya to play where he's meant to play, not where you put him."
Right. Well done.
Yep.
So it's again, it's showing that like the grass ain't always greener.
No. Again, he only wanted Nate to hurt Ted.
Yeah. Nate has texted, it's okay, I thought it was funny. Then he deletes it to type, good, thank you. And it's like he's still playing his part. in all this. Outside the Crown and Anchor, a busker is playing while May talks to the guys at the table. She says, "What have you been up to today?" Henry says, "Went to the West Ham game." And she's like, she's not having that.
Drink off him. You're not welcome.
You don't drink in this pub, right? Like, he's a boy. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And
It's Henry.
and she says, "Fine, you're on probation," which is good. They all toast. And you notice that all three toast, bang the glass, include Henry, and then drink.
A pint of milk. That's a lot of milk.
That's a lot of milk.
There's nothing much worse than warm milk because it got warm on its own. It's like, right?
Especially
I love
on
me some
like a hot
cold
day as well. Like it's a summer day.
Yeah.
Like, well, I say a summer day. It shouldn't be a summer day because it's nearing the end of the season. It's not the end of the season.
Yeah.
And they've got a
spring day.
They've got lightweight hoodies on and stuff too. So yeah, they're not.
It should be around end of February, start of March, so it should be fucking freezing. To be fair.
Yeah. You would think. You can't see their breath, so it's not that cold. But it's, and plus, we don't know what time of the year they film this, but yeah, good point.
Probably in the summer.
Yeah,
because when the grounds are free.
So, that's a good point. Yeah. Rebecca calls and says, Ted, or she gets a text. He gets a text. Ted, I have info. Call me. Ted gets up and goes to speak to her away from the table. And she goes, I want you to know you do not have to go down this road. And he goes, I know, but I need to, because right now Michelle and this Dr. Jacob fellow could be sitting there having dinner at one of her favorite Parisian hotels, like the George Sink or the Plaza Anthony. And Anthony's corrected to what? Athene?
Anthony,
is that it?
He does it twice in a row.
Yeah.
It's just a little runner they put in. It's
yeah.
Her favorite hotel's in Paris. I thought you said she'd never been there. He goes, yeah, she hasn't. But the George Sink is from her favorite movie, French Kiss, and the Plaza Antini or whatever. That's from her favorite TV show, Sex and the City. Sex and the City. It's great. Back and forth. Back at the table, Beard asks Henry why he likes the Beatles, because that's what the busker's playing, of course. And he says, because his dad does. That's a very quick throwaway moment that I like. They just leave it hanging there until Beard talks again. But I like that because it's just a very brief reminder of the influence he has.
But also it parallels, obviously, there's a lot of things that Ted, whenever he kind of brings up his dad, and he'll pause and let it breathe. And then obviously they've done the same thing with Henry.
Beard says, you know what the song's about? He says, someone named Jude. And Beard says, not just someone, a little boy named Jude. And one day his mom and dad decided to break up, get divorced. And that made Jude real sad. Jude's dad had a best friend. I love how he's not saying Paul and John and Julian. That's interesting. Because none of that part really matters. It's just a story.
No. It's just a story.
Yeah. And, his friend was worried about Jude and all his sad feelings. So he wrote him this song, hoping that, the words might help him somewhere down the road. And Henry says, the long and winding road? He says, hey, yeah, come on, Joe. You love that shit.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I did wince that, but I mean, Joe will understand why I wince at all the Beatles references, because I'm from Liverpool and we just don't care for the Beatles in Liverpool, even though they're from here.
Get back. Just get back for a second, Jay. Just get back.
Don't start.
Did you get that one? All right.
Yeah.
I fucking got it. Yeah, of course I fucking did.
It's like, stop it, asshole. I got it. All right.
Subtlety of a house brick, but yeah.
Look. I'll let it be. Relax. All right.
All right.
That's all I'm going to do. That's all I'm going to do. I may not be all I do. I'm thinking it over.
It's fucking isn't.
I'm thinking it over now. And he says, and I know right now it feels like you're in a sad song, but you have the power to take a sad song and make it better. He goes, oh, I like that. He says, yeah, me too. But you know what the best thing about this song is? And then they start singing along.
Hate it.
Shut up. It's a great song. It is completely overplayed.
Yeah, it's not. It's a terrible
That
song.
said, it is also used as a football chant. So
this whole scene is awful.
What? I'm a big Beatles guy, man. I have been my whole
It's-
life.
Up until
It's
that bit,
very-
I'm like, fine, I get it with him going like, it isn't your fault, basically. Like,
It's very Richard Curtis, isn't it?
yeah. But then when they're
That's what
all
I
doing
got.
the na 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 bit, I'm like, shoot me in the head.
It's
No.
very. It's a very like, as I say, Richard Curtis is what comes to
Yeah,
mind.
Hugh Grant came walking through, going, excuse me.
I was fucking half expecting Hugh Grant
Yeah.
or Colin Firth to just rock up and just for
Yeah.
reasons.
Mr. Man's there yelling at
Mr.
people
Man's
as well.
there. Yeah, he's like, fucking sing along. He's like cussing at him. It's so good. Rebecca's talking to Ted, and she wants to know why he never took Michelle to Paris. And he says he wanted to, but they were too broke. They had Henry, never went, and so on. Rebecca says, but seriously, who gives a flying fuck if Michelle gets engaged? That time in your relationship with her has passed. But your time with Henry has not. You need to stop letting yesterday get in the way of today, Ted. Well, says, well, I don't think he's singing yesterday. And she goes, Ted. He's like, no, I know. I'm just joking. He says, you're right. She goes, of course I'm right. I'm always right. Now, for the love of God, will you get back to that pub and sing Hey Jude with your boy? And he says, mercy buckets, boss.
Mercy bucket.
Yeah, you're right. It's the whole thing, the whole Hey Jude, it's overplayed, and you're right. It's a little cringe that maybe they could have done another song here, but I like the fact that we don't know if she really knows. Do we know that she called? That's a great pull. I don't think, if my head went there, it didn't stay there very long. So I don't really know what the answer to that is. That's interesting.
Sometimes the mystery, again, not knowing is sometimes better.
I don't know. I think the fact that she's told Ted she's got an answer, like Rebecca's done it for him, but I think she's still trying her hardest to like not give him the information, let him find out for himself.
Yeah.
And so at Keeley's place that night, Jack tells her they have a much more toned down version of the statement. She says, I know it's lame, but it will help. Believe me. Keeley says, before when you said that you were going to take care of this, I thought that meant you were going to get the video taken down or something like that. And she goes, well, we tried, but it's the fucking internet making the statement is taking care of it now. She goes, by having me make an apology? She goes, yes, please just do it. Sorry, but it's not a great look when the person I'm seeing, whose company I fund, has a porno online. She's like, a porno? She says, you know what I mean. We're limiting the damage. She goes, I'm not doing it. This video being leaked is not my fault, but for some reason you think it is. She goes, well, maybe I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't have made the video in the first place.
Get out my house.
Yeah.
It's certainly not something to be proud of. Keeley, she goes, I don't regret it.
Wine glass. No.
That's what she wanted to say the moment they found out it happened.
Yeah. Again, like, it's all self-preservation for Jack. None of it is what's good for Keeley here. Yeah, like the whole making her apologize for her past actions when she doesn't regret it. She doesn't need to regret. She done something thinking it was going to be private between her and someone else. Unfortunately, these things happen, and you shouldn't blame the person who's been the victim of it, regardless of your relationship with them. Like, it's just an awfully shitty thing that Jack does here. But again, it's showing her true colors to Keeley, where like she said she had like Rebecca was pointing out she had the red flags with the love bombing and all that, and Keeley was like, let's see how it goes. And then unfortunately, it's took this turn for her to finally see the forest for the trees, but.
Better late than never. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this isn't love, obviously. We've never seen them have any kind of spat, and now it's over. Like, did you even care about this girl? Like, what happened here? I don't know.
No.
But Keeley basically says, yeah.
Are you coming back? I don't know.
I don't know.
You don't really care, then. You never cared.
Never cared. Jack says, are there more out there? And Keeley's like, I don't know. And I'm like, that's how you answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But also, like Keeley used to be a glamour model anyway, so why the fuck's Jack bothered?
Yeah.
But again, like Keeley said, she put those pictures out there. That was her choice.
Yeah.
This is not her choice. This is personal, private, personal information.
Yeah, that's true. But also,
But you
why
know
is Jack
that-
bothered about that now? Like, she knew what she was getting into with Keeley.
Jack strikes me as a very flavor of the week.
Mm.
She
Nah,
she
Jack's
moves
not
from
at all.
person to person. No, she moves from person to person. Like,
Mhm.
and when the
Mhm.
novelty's worn off, on to
Mhm.
the next one. Or when
Yep.
there's a
Yeah.
minor inconvenience.
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, all about saving face, isn't it?
It is.
Keeping up appearances.
Well, I will. I'm on the record. When she made her first appearance, I wasn't crazy about this storyline. I'm glad it's over because I wasn't. All due respect, can't remember the actress's name. The actress is great. I didn't care for the character at all.
No.
She, from the second she come into it, she seemed like very insincere, and obviously that was by design.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, is what it is, I guess.
Rebecca had it pegged from day one. She knew what this was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can't get much by Rebecca. We've learned that Rebecca is the wise old man in this show. She's seen just about everything. Do you know what I mean?
It's the same as what Rupert did with me, and look how that ended up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she
But-
literally said in that chat they had earlier, give her a chance to surprise you, and this is how it plays out. Like there's nothing redeemable.
Nothing. At Nate's place, Jade asks him if he wants to go out to celebrate. He asks why. Like he's genuinely doesn't know why. And she's like, didn't you win today? He goes, oh, yeah, but no, that's okay. Already working on the next one. I got to tell you, we'll get there and we get there. But I apart from the weird, Napoleon complex this guy had for a while or whatever's going on that we've documented thoroughly here, man, he did a good job. Like, maybe the team was already put together, so it was easy. Or, he didn't really have to move chess pieces that much, but man, it feels like he's on autopilot in this job. Like,
you've still got to get the team to play though. Doesn't matter if you get like Chelsea are a prime example of that. They just buy players and get a new manager practically every other fucking season, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Also, how much true control does he actually have with the having to submit team sheets and that? Like, it's
yeah. He's
fair.
essentially just getting them to play the football there with the whole team sheet stuff and having to get approval by Rupert. He still hasn't got the control that he'd like. He still hasn't got the control that he should have as a manager. If Rupert thought he was this elite footballing manager, he'd just let him do his thing.
Yeah, the wonder kid. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she says, you should enjoy your victories. It looks like they did. And she's pointing to the laptop, the photo of, because of course the headline is AFC Richmond coach is at the West Ham game and they're all happy and stuff. And he tells Jay loves her smile. And she says, I love your smile. I like to see my boyfriend happy. So there you go. Finally have a label. And again, we're still on the path of Nathan becoming a real boy here. So,
yep.
Well, again, it's Jade showing Nate should be more like he was when he was at Richmond, not like he is when he's trying to impress Rupert.
Yeah.
Look, Robo Jade might be growing on me. It's possible. I'm just saying. I said might be. Jamie shows up at Keeley's house and says, sorry to drop in. I was too nervous to text. She's like, yeah, like you and everyone in my family. He's like, I wanted to apologize. She's like, this is not your fault. He's like, no, it is. He said, I deleted it off my phone way back when we broke up. So now we know
where it's come from.
It went, yeah. I deleted everything.
I deleted everything. Well, not at first, because I thought, there's still a chance. And then when you started dating Roy, I got rid of like half of it. So there is more of this. Obviously, there's more of it. It's Jamie's whole wandering speech and then I finally got rid of it all when I realised it was something real between you and Roy. And again, like this is compared to season 1, Jamie. This is like a fully fleshed out human being.
It is
showing remorse for his actions. Like it's
He's the most sincere person to Keeley in the entire episode.
Yes.
Like, because he's just all she wanted to hear was sorry this has happened. She didn't want anyone's like pity. She didn't want She didn't want anyone to get her to apologize for it. She just wanted to hear, I'm sorry this has happened to you. It's shit.
Yeah.
And it to be a sincere, I hope you're okay.
Yeah.
And like, as we said, like Barbara and Roy had moments with it. Rebecca was sort of like just trying to take her mind off it. Jamie's the only person in the entire episode who comes to it and says, I'm sorry, and even like owns it. And that's all she needed.
Yeah. And you know, the more you look at these two together, they kind of look like they belong together. I don't know. Something about them physically, they match. I don't know. It's odd to think that now, and at one point we were rooting for her to get rid of him. But like, yeah.
But also he needed to grow up before
that happens.
Before any of that happens, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And he says, I should have been more careful. I should have picked a stronger password. And she's like, don't tell me your password was password. He's like, yeah.
I thought
to be fair.
I put two S's in. I'm like, oh,
two S's.
Jamie, you delightful summer child. Yeah.
Yeah. He'll never fully grow up. Let's be real.
He's still daft, but like, yeah.
That poor sweet man.
It's a great moment. It's a great moment because you feel like the wounds that he left, and he left, she didn't leave anything on him. She was nothing but good to him, but he left wounds with her. Like, you kind of feel like they've healed up at this point. You know what I mean? Or really close anyway.
They're pals now. Like
yeah. Jake's on the sidewalk asking a passerby to take photos of him on his phone as he's posing by I'm calling it a phone booth, right?
Phone box, yeah.
Phone
there
box,
you go.
Again.
And like, why didn't he just ask Michelle to do it?
But she's inside, isn't she? With Ted picking up.
That's right. Who's standing? There isn't somebody standing there with him.
He's
he
waiting.
Just gets two random
waiting
people
in the taxi, and then he gets. But
I see.
Again, it's him trying to be fucking Billy Big Bollocks when they're around, and then as soon as he can be like tourist knobhead, he is.
He's like this. It's terrible.
They're only there.
So
there's no phones in those phone booths because no one uses phone booths anymore, phone boxes anymore. No. They're just used for public urination and
really
like, smoking meth now. Yeah.
So they were left, I'm guessing, as props, or were they too expensive to pull up? Maybe, or
in London, they're still there for tourists mostly. Yeah. A lot of places now will put defib machines and stuff in them.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. To your point about Michelle being inside, she's like, Jeff phoned through Dad talking to Henry. He's like, yeah, he's gonna buy me a drum kit, and Ted's like, no, right. It's good. Because Henry leaves, they say goodbye, and Ted goes to hand her the backpack and looks down, and there's no ring on her finger.
He does that really good thing of grabbing the bag, and she's going, "What? Oh, sorry, I forgot what I was doing for a second.
Like, I'm just messing around."
Says,
she
knows
Paris?
What he's doing.
Yeah,
she's fucking on to him.
Like, how was Paris? She's like, all right. Did you get the feeling that it was obvious she didn't really care about the trip, but was that because she didn't get proposed to, or because it's him and the more time she spends with him, it's getting...
I think she's just kind of had the whole, like, because it's obviously like she was like, oh yeah, he surprised me and all this. I think it's kind of like the whole, again, you don't know what you've got till it's gone sort of thing. She's realizing that Dr. Jake isn't Ted.
Yeah. And also seeing how he reacts around the phone box. Like, they've gone to Paris and he's gone, let's go and see the Arc de Triomphe. Let's go to the Louvre. He's probably took a blurry picture of the Mona Lisa. Like,
she's probably wanted to do the things that Ted's mentioned to Rebecca, like go to that restaurant and stay in that hotel. And he's probably been like, let's do all the touristy stuff.
Yeah.
And she probably wanted to do that. Yeah, she probably wanted to do that as well, but like he's probably like not put as much thought into it as Ted would have.
He's just gone, going to Paris is enough, that'll do, and we'll flesh it out when we get there.
My theory on this is that she's obviously mentioned about wanting to go, and like the whole "we'll never have Paris" thing. in a therapy session. And
oh god, that's even worse.
He's probably had that like in the chamber to try and like again woo her and oh yeah, I'm gonna look so great and make Ted look so bad. When in reality, it's like it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter. He's taking her to Paris because it's not the person she wants to go to Paris with. Her and Ted had planned this journey to Paris, like as Ted said, like they'd spoken about it multiple times, and he wanted to take it to this place, and they wanted to stay in. But this
he knows
hotel.
that he still knows where she'd want to go, even though they're not together. Yeah. And again, they were married for many years, so you do absorb that information. Yeah. But he's not. Dr. Romance has not even bothered to find out this information. So yeah, I reckon they've gone to one of the tourist cafes and had a croissant and done all the boring tourist stuff that there is to do, instead of just going for a walk and exploring the city. Like, because Paris is a lovely city, but and take a photo of me near the Eiffel Tower. Take a photo of, and it's not the romantic weekend that she probably thought she was going to get. It's just an idiot abroad.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. An idiot abroad. Oh, that's fun. Yeah. And as Henry's running out, she's like, Dave Grohl learned to play drums on the pillows, which is great.
Great callback as well. So obviously Ted saying it earlier.
Yep.
Shed, right?
I love how Jake's at the car like this, and Henry runs right past him to get in the car.
Go for a fist bump. Also, he's had that black cab waiting for that amount of time. That's about 30 quid on the meter before we even start going.
I was going to say that fucking driver's definitely turned the meter on while they're waiting.
Yeah.
Don't fuck around with that.
Well, kids, guess what?
Well,
we're done.
Even when Michelle goes to get in the car, like she just ignores him. Like doesn't he go to hug her or something? And she just like walks past him and then turns and looks at Ted and like smiles at Ted,
waving out there.
Again, it's like I think that's both of them, more so Michelle realizing that her and Ted belong together. And again, it goes back to the whole like you don't know what you got till it's gone. Set someone free, it's come back.
But also, again, thinking about it from Ted's perspective as well, this can't be helping his homesickness. Like,
no, of course not.
Because I think Henry says at some point, "I've got more air miles than any child in my school," and I'm like, weird thing to talk about, but whatever.
But also, it's probably if Ted knows there's a chance that he can save his marriage, then
he's going to take it.
It's given him more reason to go back than to remain in Richmond. And it's at this point, it's obviously Ted like weighing up the pros and cons of staying or leaving Richmond.
Yeah. Again, it's a lot with just a little look and a wave, and then him just like Ted just coming back in and he's on his own again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not every episode, like we said at the beginning, not every episode can be, Beard's Night Out. Not every episode could be the Amsterdam episode. I mean, some episodes, hills and valleys. You know what I mean? So
yeah. There are jokes in there, and there are tremendous scenes. Like Higgins is running across that locker room is one of the funniest things. But it's the Ted Lasso 1-2 of here's a fun episode, here's all the emotion.
Well,
like in the next one, sort of thing.
This is the lowest rated episode of Ted Lasso on IMDb.
Boo on these people.
Wow.
So that's interesting. I to be fair, like it's to give it the sort of comparison to Pandora's Box, where obviously once everything's coming out, all the bad stuff comes first, and then which is the majority of this episode. It's not that it's a bad episode, but it's just like it's just bad things happening, and then the last sort of 5 minutes is like the little glimmer of hope at the end.
Well, that's the last thing that was left in the box, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Where it's like
where you've got like obviously, as I say, like Keeley as Jamie Jamie comes and tells Keeley exactly what she needs to hear. Jade tells Nate what he needs to hear after Nate kind of going through the ringer emotionally with stuff throughout the episode. And then Ted and Michelle at the end. Ted finding out she's not engaged, and then them kind of both having that little moment.
Yeah.
Greek
Yeah,
mythology.
like there are some good moments here, but it's also, you can't really say world building anymore. We're too far down the rabbit hole, and character building, no, because basically these characters are almost who they are. I mean, it's
the last
everyone
of the Dark Forest.
Yeah, everyone is where they're gonna be, and it's just getting them to the finish line now.
There's one person that's not gotten. Well, two that aren't quite where they should be.
They're gonna get it in the next episode, though, aren't they?
They'll get it. Yeah. Well, guess what, kids? When you have an hour episode to review, it typically does take 2.5 hours to review it. So guess what? We're done.
Yeah, surprisingly quick.
I love the long episodes as much as anybody, but it's the short ones, especially when they're tighter. Like the next one is 44 minutes, I think. So the tighter they are, the more you can kind of breathe on it and not feel like, oh man, there's a lot of ground to cover. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, still a good episode, kids. We hope you enjoyed it. Episode number 8 is in the books. You know what that means, folks? We got 4 more and we are done with the series called Ted Lasso. What happens after that? I don't have any idea. If you guys know, tell me. But I don't think right now anybody knows. So before we call today, Joseph, we will start with you. Oh, yeah. See? What are your biggest takeaways from this episode?
Finally, Keeley's free from Jack's tyrannical reign, and showed her that, again, it's that thing of the grass isn't always green, and people that you think you can trust and that will not be there for you when you need them, and people that you wouldn't think would be there for you show surprising moments of like clarity and grown upness. We get the start of the Colin and Isaac angle as well, which is one of my favorite ones. And also everyone is right where they need to be now for the last remaining 4 episodes. So it I don't know why. I can see why it's the lowest rated on IMDb, because the jokes are thin on the ground and it is a lot of development and stuff. But it's Ted Lasso. It's still a great episode because it's characters that you care and want the best for, except Rupert and Jack and Henry,
and of course,
and that guy that runs the Greek Taverna because he's a whammer and all. Yeah.
No, he's all right.
Talking about Derek that runs the restaurant. I love that guy.
Oh God, he's such a knob.
I've worked in a lot of bars where there's been Derek's who've been running.
Oh yeah.
Hey, it's on the house. Your money's no good here. Except for I got to charge you for the booze. Yeah, I got to charge you for the booze. Yeah. Jay, what do you think?
As I said, this is kind of like they're at the reaching the tree line of the Dark Forest. We are on the home stretch now. We're reaching the end game of the show. As we said, everyone's where they need to be. Again, not the best episode of Ted Lasso, but it's certainly not a bad episode. It's just it's a difficult watch because obviously it's like one of the worst things that happens to one of the most lovable characters. And again, it's just like seeing like for the episode, I think seeing Keeley going through what she goes through in this episode is like really, really difficult to watch, just from because we've all been there where we've had like a friend who's going through a hard time and like no one knows what to say to them, and it's trying to be what like Jamie's like at the end as opposed to what everyone else is doing and trying to soften the blow. But yeah, it did exactly what it needed to do. I'm very excited about what's like the last 4 episodes that are coming, because I think they are some of the best episodes of the entire show. I
agree. Yeah. Can't believe we're almost done. I say that, but look, behind the scenes, kids, we get so backed up on the time. 85 to 90% of it is on me because of reasons that kept throwing us behind. And then we all 3 have lives to lead, and that, gets in the way of doing a podcast, and I'm sick of it. friends and family just going to have to, I'm going to tell you know what, I'm done. Just, you're going to have to wait. I don't think that'll go over too well. I don't know about you guys. So you give it a shot. I'm with you. I'm with you guys both, man. It's not the best episode ever, but I've never seen an episode of Ted Lasso that I didn't get some kind of fulfillment out of it and didn't enjoy it. Because again, I'm in the bag for this show. Obviously, we're doing a podcast about it, but I mean, yeah, there's so much good stuff here, man. And like you said, Jay, I can't wait to get to the last 4. Hard to believe we're already here. So, well, kids, there you have it. Episode 8 is in the bag. Episode 9 coming. You know it's coming. Keep your eyes open. If we're on track, it's coming next week. We'll be on track. Don't be laughing at that. Never you fear, we'll be on track. And you can expect that next week. Remember, BOINK, boinkstudios.com. All the links to every platform that we have for this show is on there, as well as the 6M podcast, the main event, Hallmark of Greatness, the Dammit Vacant podcast, and the Untitled Wrestling podcast. See, old man can retain information. I'm in my prime. I'm in my prime. I'm saying, I got a teleprompter here. I'm telling you, man. So there you have it, kids. That's all we got for you. Thanks much for tuning in. Keep your eyes open for episode 9. Thanks for continuing to follow and support the show. Thanks for subscribing. Be sure to share it with your friends and family. We'd very much appreciate it. For Jay and Joe, I'm Tom. We'll see you next time, kids.